One of the best aspects of the Soulsborne franchise is the constant attention to balance and bug fixing those games receive. Sekiro, a 99% offline experience and quite the short game, was still receiving updates with new content and improvement of quality of life, 1 year and a half after its release. Dark Souls 3, a game that came out in 2016, received a patch 7 years later for the PC version, which fixed some game bugs, and Elden Ring was no different. I have to say, being the massive game it is, lots of things could have gone wrong, and while playing the 1.0 version of the game, I saw some of those broken features that should have never been seen by us players. Let's get to the first, oh thank God they corrected this thing off the list, and that is the double Erd Tree avatar in the main avenue of Leyndell. As you can see, I haven't minced words with number 5 because it is pretty much straightforward. One of these guys is already enough trouble, and that's what we have nowadays. But two of them, with no debuffs to compensate for being a duo? The only thing they missed here is making both of them one of those annoying Scarlet Rot avatars. That could have been the final nail in the coffin. For number 4, I'm following this with a change that's not tied to combat, but to exploration, and that is how impossible it was to find Albus, the guy who was hiding in the Albinaric village. To get to the Halig Tree and fight Malenia, you must get this guy to hand you half of the medallion you need to use the lift. In the game's current version, he is a pot, with a very convenient yellow glow. I don't know about you, but making his disguise a pot brings out my masculine destructive desires. Bloodborne taught me really well. And that yellow light? Brother, did you even hide and seek? However, in 1.0 he was no hiding casual. He was a damn ninja. No light, just a statue, hidden in a dark corner of the map. Like, tell me how am I supposed to find this man? It's borderline impossible without a guide, and that's why I think this is unfair. Getting into number 3, we got Godfrey having 2 health bars. In today's version of the game, Godfrey and Hora Lu are 2 phases of the same boss fight. The biggest difference is that the transition happens when we reduce 50% of his HP. After the I get buffed for ripping my pet to shreds cutscene, his health bar stays where it was pre-cutscene. However, in the factory version of the game, this fight was crazy. This man's a king, so it's only natural he got the Burger King treatment by receiving a free refill when he was done. Screw balance. You depleted his health bar in phase 1? Here's a brand new one, sucker. Have fun being thrown around like a ragdoll. This poor man's dogs have run away from him and they are literally too rabid to come back. Subscribe if you would like to see them vaccinated so they can come back home to their non-predator owner. Next, number 2 was a big reason for my deaths while playing the pre-release version of Elden Ring, and her name is Malenia. Did you understand? Her name is Malenia.
Now do you understand? I am Malenia.
Did y'all think it was already enough to hear her say her name after each death, ranging between 20 and 300 times? FromSoftware initially had an even more infuriating tone given to her. It's not like she only had to say who she is, nah. She also has that mocking tone while repeatedly asking if I had understood who she was. Yes, lady, I did! You were the reason why for the first time in my FromSoftware career I had to check up a guide on how to dodge a boss move. I think I got an idea of who you are. Speaking of which, what the fuck Dance had a little clone, but a very underwhelming clone from which you only had to run away from, and done. All's good. Obviously, it didn't manage to steal the spotlight of her signature move, and rightfully so, because in 1.0, it was even stronger than it is now. First and foremost, she could do it at any moment during the fight. You guys have no idea how fast the hopelessness hit me when after entering her arena, the first thing she did to greet me was this.
I got this!
You're a whore. You're a whore, just admit it.
Now do you understand?
Its tracking was totally broken. I'm the first person to admit that I'm not the best Elden Ring player out there, but there was a point in my life where I could pull off inconsistently some waterfall dodges from up close. But here, she just follows you everywhere. There's no way! Running away isn't a tactic either, because she catches up to you in the second flurry of hits, not in the third one as she does nowadays. And freezing pots were absolutely useless. They did not stagger her out of the move. I tried freeze, fire, holy. No Malenias were harmed in the making of this footage. They simply did nothing. And you might be asking, how do you beat her then? That, my friend, is a very good question. I'll let you know when I do it. As of now, with no apparent weaknesses regarding Waterfall, no let me solo her, no pots, and no will to keep hearing, "Did you understand? I am Malenia. I've hit rock bottom and I don't know what to do. I'm pissed." Update. Beating fire with fire is a viable tactic, because how do you beat a broken move? Easy. You just find one yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to pre-nerf Hoarfrost Stomp, infused in a bleed weapon such as a katana. And of course, why not throw in the Mimic to get even more stomps? It's so disgusting, but at the same time it feels like divine retribution for what this hoe did to me. Cue in the slaughter.
Look at you!
And finally, I'll end this video by targeting one disgraceful overlook related to Castle Sol, specifically to Commander Nile. If you've played Elden Ring, you know it's a fact that this boss fight is as dumb as calling someone's landline and asking them if they're home. If you have no bewitching branches, fighting these two guys is a pain in the ass because they are tough as hell. It's basically what happens when you, the movable object and stoppable force, all together in one character, meet two enemy NPCs who eat tarnished for breakfast. And Nile, well, he doesn't do much while these two are alive, but when they're gone, the fight is pretty much baiting two attacks, smack him once or twice, and repeat. This hasn't changed much. Actually, the biggest adjustment happens outside of the boss fight, but it drastically affects the outcome of that encounter. So here's the problem. Castle Sol is full of those spectral soldiers that appear and disappear wherever they please. Remember the infamous jump-scare Ghost Knight? How he could lay his eyes on you and in less than a second he was behind you in some Dragon Ball Z type of shit? What if I told you they were capable of getting past everything, including fog walls? In the patchless version of Elden Ring, Castle Sol Knights could join the fight against you and turn a soulless 1v3 into an infuriating 1 versus 4 or even 5. It's a shame I didn't have my microphone on at that exact moment, because I can tell you, Jim Carrey got nothing on me in a jaw-dropping contest. I cursed the game with forbidden ancient words unknown to men, that if heard, I would have been thrown into the nearest jail cell for years. Miyazaki must have felt the projectiles all the way from Spain to Japan, like, how is that even remotely fair? I was trying to get rid of Niall's bodyguards, and having one more of these dual sword spammers was literal hell. What was amazing is that the runback was also cursed. The dual sword ghost would spawn right in front of the door frame leading to the arena, which means you had to wait for him to attack, dodge, all while having the other guys behind you also swinging their blades. This really made that Lift the most valuable character in all of this game lore. It takes a little longer because you have to wait for it to go up and then reset it, since you know this is not your last fight, but hey, I'll take that any day over this. This is not the only situation where an enemy outstays their welcome. Safe zones with enemies nearby weren't so safe. For instance, Volcano Manor. Once you enter the place, no enemies should be able to follow you because according to that yellow grace light, this is a non-hostile area, which means you can't attack anyone while there. Imagine my surprise when this guy followed me inside, where he could attack me as much as he wanted, but I couldn't do a damn thing besides running from him and rest to make him disappear. Stay tuned, comrades. My next video will be top 5 worst mistakes you can make in Dark Souls 1. If you like the idea, subscribe to the channel so you can watch the video when it comes out. In the meantime, have a look at some of the other top 5 worst mistakes you can make in Souls games. Thank you for staying, take care, and see you in the next one. Bye!